visible?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah,
too dark?
I can see you. The people at
Okay.
home can see you.
I haven't recorded yet. Um, but I want to show
Yeah.
you here. I'm gonna flip around.
We are streaming, so
Okay.
whatever I see, the people see.
So this is my cool lamp.
You got a cool little lamp.
Yeah. So that's what I'm using now.
I
I
have
like
a
it better when it's dark.
I have a little thing. I It's not quite a lamp, and it's because it's daylight, you can't really tell, but I have this little globe that
Oh, that's cool.
changes color. It just looks white on this camera, but you can see the reflection, how the reflection is changing, slowly changing colors. So
Ben has an orb.
it's a fun little orb.
Okay. So, and now see, this is what I thought. Now that I turn this on, I'm going to be
Lit
a
by your
little bit more
monitor.
visual.
Yeah.
So here we go. I'm going to start, and you're going to know that I've done it when I say Ben Lawrence.
All goody.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. No, I did it wrong. Oh
That
no.
was a false start.
Now I'm the one that says, oh no, I didn't do it yet. Okay.
No.
And why is it not going? Ben, I ask you. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. And then, okay, okay. Why aren't you doing it? What is happening? Okay, okay, I said
Check,
okay.
check. One, two.
Sir, why?
Listen to the music because we could till dawn.
Oh, it was trying to recover my project. I don't want to recover the project though. And what project is this anyway? Ugh, Ben.
What's
It's
your
a good thing we
project,
aren't.
sir?
It's a good thing we're not streaming to all the people right now, or
Right?
they would be
I mean,
bored.
that's totally a good thing that we're not doing that because that would
Uh,
be, it's not like anybody's watching anyway. Can't remember the
oh
last time someone
no.
tuned into one of these things.
Why is this happening to me of all people?
Why is this
Oh wait,
happening? A
I think it might
podcast with
actually
Chris
be
Hayes.
working. Oh, it is working. Hey Ben.
Hey, Paul, are you
Hello.
recording?
Yeah, I've been recording
This entire
before I
time.
was lamenting why is this happening to me. I was actually recording. We'll keep it in.
That makes a great opener. Yeah.
We'll keep it in simply because
That's how we do.
we don't edit the program. Yeah,
No.
I should have maybe said, Ben, how's it happening? Uh,
How's it happening?
I can see you just as well without my glasses because you're far enough away.
Ah, yes. I
So,
actually
yeah.
these are a spare set of glasses that I am currently wearing because when I was in Puerto Rico last week, I lost my freaking glasses.
Oh no, Ben, we have
Yeah.
to talk about Puerto Rico. Speaking of Puerto Rico, Ben, this is crazy. Uh, Not because it's made in Puerto Rico like one of the other drinks I really like, but I'm drinking Coco
Coco
Rico.
Rico. It's a coconut soda.
It is a coconut soda. And there are two different now as we know, I've often said that green is my favorite color, but I have to say that yellow and red are my favorite two color combinations together.
It's
There's just something about them.
yeah. So
So here we go. Open the Coco Rico. Tell
I've
me about
I've spent
Puerto Rico.
so you know where Puerto Rico is. It takes a while to get there, even if you
Sure.
fly. Um, it is a 6.5 hour flight. So what I did, so we left at like 10:30 at night, Monday night. It's a 6.5 hour flight to Miami. We had a layover in Miami, and then it's another 2.5 hour flight to Puerto Rico. So I don't sleep on planes. I can't sleep on planes. I try. It's not like a thing that I am against. I wanted to sleep. I had my eyes closed almost the entire 6.5 hour flight. Never slept. And we get to Puerto Rico. We fly into San Juan. We have a meal. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's like the meal of the day. And then we get to the condo where we're staying. It's by the beach. You can see the beach. We go to the store. We get provisions. We hang out. I don't go to bed. I don't go to sleep until like 5:30 the next morning. I did the math. Aside from like a 20-minute nap here and a 5-minute nap there,
Hmm.
I was awake for 40 hours.
Ben,
That was
did
bonkers.
you did you feel tired? Obviously, yes,
I
right?
felt, but there was a time when I got like a second wind, It's like,
Yeah.
when I realized it was, I was up for like 30 hours, I'm like, this is crazy. But I'm not tired. I mean, granted, if I like slowed down and put my head on a pillow and concentrated,
Yeah.
I probably could have fallen asleep. But yeah.
But so I kind of think that that's what I did when I went to France, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
I had the whole night flying basically. And then when I got there it was light out, and so I couldn't really go to sleep. I guess I could, but I told you about this too. And then I woke up and the floor was going "Woo." And at first I thought, "Whoa, I must have really big jet lag
Yeah.
happening." And instead it was ants. The floor was covered with
The
ants.
floor was ants.
Yes. So I'm happy to hear that you're back. Did you have fun? Did you have time to have fun, or were you just working the whole
Yeah.
time?
No, it didn't work the whole time. I only worked, so we got in Tuesday afternoon. I worked basically all day Thursday and then Friday morning, and then I left the following Tuesday afternoon. So I had a week there essentially, and I only worked a day and a half. So
Now,
the rest was like sightseeing and hanging out and eating Puerto Rican food.
was this the? I know you, Ben, are more traveled than I am. You've been to many, many more places. Had you been to Puerto Rico before?
Mm-mm. First time. I don't
Now,
even speak
those
the
of you
language.
who are interested, go back and see if I asked Ben this exact same question and just forgot about it between the two times that we've
Well, then I would
talked.
have forgotten about it too because I didn't think, why is Paul asking me this again?
Now, this is something that's interesting. I ran into a guy at the grocery store, and he
And then
only
I
spoke
backed up
Spanish.
and ran into him again.
No, 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 no. He only spoke Spanish. I only spoke English, but we both had Google Translate on our phones. And so between the two of us, we had a conversation.
Why did you have a conversation with a guy at a grocery store?
He wanted food,
Okay,
and he wanted to know if I could help him get food.
gotcha. Okay.
Now, the thing is that the food that he wanted was baby formula, and unfortunately, that grocery store did not have the correct type of baby formula because his child was premature. And therefore, I instead gave him money for baby formula and
So,
also food.
so a guy approaches you outside of a grocery store, gives you a
Inside
story.
inside the grocery store.
He approaches you inside the grocery store,
And he approached me and Jennifer
gives you
inside the grocery store.
doesn't speaks only Spanish, and through
Yes.
the miracle of technology, you were able
Yes.
to discern that he needed baby formula, but they didn't have the proper baby formula.
So the first thing we did was we went to where the baby formula was.
Yeah.
And then he was checking his phone and he was checking the because he had a specific thing he was supposed to get. And he was looking at it and he's like, "Well, I can't get this. They don't have the kind that I need for this thing." And so while we're figuring it, we go to look for an ATM. And when we go to look for the ATM is gone because the bank that was part of the grocery store is now gone. So
Awesome.
while we're figuring it out, his wife calls him, and I see the wife and the baby, and they're talking about it. And
Okay.
then I'm like, okay, so here's the thing. There's no the formula is going to cost $25. Jennifer already gave me $10 to give to him. So really, I only need to give him 15 more dollars. And I was like, well, okay, so they don't have a stove, and they don't have um, like they do have a refrigerator. So I was like, look, let's get food that you don't have to cook, and with that, then I can get cash back, and then I can give you the money for the rest of the formula. And that's what we ended up doing. And
All
then
right.
he asked me
Yeah.
if I had any work that he could do, and I said no. And then he asked if we wanted to exchange numbers, and I said no. And then he left.
I am a very cynical person.
I know you are,
And
but what am I?
right off the bat, when I hear the tale, a guy approaches me at a grocery store, needs baby
Yeah,
formula, but they don't have the
yeah.
right baby formula here, so can you give me money instead? I don't think that guy actually has a baby.
But he did.
So
Either that or
the
he
further, see,
or
the further you
his
fleshed out this story, the more, and like, vibe checks are important, right?
yeah. It's possible though that the long con is that there's a woman with a baby and she has 20 men scouring the city, and each of them calls her, and
Yep.
then they come back with the $25, and then she's like, haha, I've
Yeah.
done it. What would that be? $500 total? No.
Not bad
Yeah,
for a few hours
$500
work.
total. Yeah. But I don't think that's what happened.
Yeah.
And I really do think that he was intending on getting the formula and then saw that they didn't have the right formula. But,
Right.
you know, and then the other thing that he said was that he was working on getting a work permit, but it was going to take 180 days for it to come through.
You had quite the
So I
conversation with this guy
think,
through Google Translate.
yep, yep, we totally did. I'm not positive, but my guess is that he is part of some migrant program, and that that paperwork is part of it.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
reason
good
I think that
good luck to that guy now.
is because there's a huge thing going on right now in Chicago, uh, where there is and this has happened. I think I might have even talked about when I moved here. Um, so where I live in Roseland, which is part of South Chicago, and the guy who is we're part of Ward 9, I think.
Chicago
I
is
think
one
it's Ward
giant
9.
prison.
Um, I think it's Ward 9. It's wherever Roseland is. He is very against Chicago's sanctuary city status
Now, who is he?
because our alderman, sorry, the alderman for Ward 9.
Okay.
Um, can't think of his name either. But here's the thing. Basically, uh, my ward is almost all black people,
Yeah.
except for like 90%. Um, and he and many of the people in his ward are of the impression, because this is the impression that has been given off, this is a talking point, that the aid that is going to the migrants is taking away from aid that should be going to other people who live in Chicago.
Right, but if
Like
your
there's
people
a
who live in
very
your
us
ward are like 35% migrants, then those are the people that I should go to.
right, but I mean, and this is their uh, statement that they don't agree. It's very interesting because I don't have a say in this argument, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What they're saying is that the migrants are getting funds that should be going to the people that were here earlier, which is
They're
one of
are they
those
getting
situations
them
where,
illegally, or they just don't like that they're getting
okay,
them
so
legally?
this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
Migrants and illegal immigrants are not the same group of people.
Right.
Migrants are here legally.
Right. Of course.
Um, but I have noticed that when people talk about them, they conflate the two sometimes in this political discussion thing. Now, of course, Jennifer and I,
You
when
mean
we
I
vote,
are ideologies and polarized?
Jen,
No.
so no, Jennifer and me, I should say, when we vote, we're pro-migrant,
Uh-huh.
yes, but we're voting. We're not voting in the same way that the voting block in our ward votes for that sort of thing. So it's a really interesting situation
Hmm.
because you know, like it's really it's not something that I would have you know expected that a largely democratic area is against helping migrants just in general.
Yeah.
Um, but again, it's because it's been set up as an either or situation.
Right.
Like, and by that, it's actually what Chicago did. I think is good. But again, this is me as a guy with a job. Um, they have put all the social services together. If you're a migrant, if you're unhoused, you know, where you come from, what you're doing, it's all one system set up to support everybody.
Yeah.
And so, and I am also interested about this. I think the same thing would happen in the United States if universal health care became a thing, right? Because we already see it with non-universal health care. I don't want my health care paying for these people over here. I just
Right.
want it to pay for me, that kind of thing.
Why do I
Just
have to pay for this if they get that for free?
exactly, yes. So it's an interesting situation. There's a weird tenor going on right now. I don't know if tenor is the right word. Um, but his name's Pavarotti,
I was
and
trying to
boy,
think of a tenor, but
is yeah. Um, I think I told you this already. When Princess Diana died,
yeah.
when I first heard about it, the fact that the woman who knew about it got the facts wrong have forever changed what I thought about that moment. Princess Diana died because Pavarotti was chasing her on a
Oh,
motorcycle.
this is like a newsreader?
No, a woman came into the movie theater that I worked. I was working
Oh.
concessions.
All
She
right,
was
so it's some
she came in. She said Princess Diana died because Pavarotti was chasing her on a motorcycle. And in my mind, he's wearing aviator goggles,
Yeah.
white scarf flying behind him, and singing at the top of his lungs while he's going after the car. Still see it every single day in my head. Hey, notice that we're not playing Buffoon right now, Ben, by the way,
Every
and we're just talking.
single day. Yeah, I hadn't until you brought that up just now.
Yeah, so I'm doing very well with it. I'm almost so I've done everything. Now I'm working on the actor information, but I didn't want to start it at the top of the show because I don't want to drive everybody away right away. But in the same way, I'm thinking I just need a little bit more time to cook on it. It's currently like 200 pages,
Jesus.
um, but there's going to be even more um, stuff added. So yeah. But so far, I mean, our playthroughs have been. I'm serious about this. Very helpful. So
Good.
now, for instance, you know how I had the lowest score being, you know, 10. Like, or no, the average scores are 10. Lowest score is 6. whenever you get your first scores?
It feels like
Ne-
the average score was a 13 when we were doing our
Average score was
plays.
a 13. Yes, you're right. Now I don't know what the average score is exactly. I think it might still be a 13.
And the
Um,
modifiers were a 10.
yeah. So, but now the highest score is a 50. Lowest score is a one. Oh, hey, I made when I said now like this. I just realized Elon Musk. Let's talk about it. Now, here's the thing. Uh, it's what the news is calling a straight arm gesture, which is a wonderfully neutral thing to say. Did you have you seen the
Yes.
video of him doing it?
I have
Okay.
not seen the video. I have seen the clip without words, so I don't have context for that moment, I will
Oh,
admit.
oh no, but did you hear the audio in the clip that you saw without words?
No, all
Oh,
I've
okay.
seen is like the gif of him doing it.
He says, oh, okay, because he says thank you. You know, this meant everything or whatever, and then he does that.
Okay.
Um,
I did hear that it was like a gesture of love, and
well, it is.
there's
No
somebody
matter
was
for
depends
what
on
though, that's the
what,
question.
yeah.
Um,
But like,
but
I've
here's
also
the
seen it compared to when he's done that before, which has been a more like, this kind of thing, hearting and then,
yeah,
moving it out like that.
yeah. So
For the
this
podcast, I made like a little heart shape with my hands on my
yeah.
chest and then arms go out.
So this definitely did look bad.
Well,
Poor choice. If I were a public speaker coach, I would say don't do that.
I
Um,
mean,
I mean,
sure.
you really,
He could have been
I really
he
think that you should watch it with the full
he
thing.
he
This is
could he like what I'm thinking is he could have been like caught up in the moment, right? And just like really amped up.
sure,
But it was the chest tap right beforehand that like
and
it
then he did it a
ta-
second time, which
takes
is
takes it into sort of like it feels like you've worked on this territory.
so the big thing that I wanted to point out um, is that people won't know, can't know what it was that he was really doing, right? They know what, and when I say what he was really doing, quote unquote, in his head, what was going on in his head, they won't know. They could ask,
Nobody knows.
will they believe him? Um, but the fact is, optically bad.
Yeah. No, but I
That
don't
was
think
the main
anybody's
thing.
debating that.
But the other thing is this: when people say that it looked bad, they're saying, you know, oh, reprehensible gesture, etc. He also looked kind of dorky when he did it. That's the other thing is that it was kind of sloppy, kind of messy, etc. Which feeds into your idea about. I say your idea. I don't mean to say that, Ben. Feeds into the thing of he was overcome with emotion and this was just
Yeah.
him. The the thing that I keep thinking about is that is he the richest person on the planet or just the richest person in the United States?
In the US for sure, but I don't know if like there's probably like, the Sultan of Brunei has more money
Right.
kind
This
of
is what I'm
thing.
wondering.
Yeah, I don't know.
The main thing is this is that however much money he has, that moment was like it was for many people it could be like a career ending thing, whatever. For him, it's not. I mean, he's
It's a s-
so
it's
it
it's a blip on
yeah.
the data
And
points of weird things happening.
so here's where I'm going with this. Do you remember? Have we ever talked about on the because what I was going to say is basically this: the richer you are, the more almost Nazi thing you can do and get away with it. Do you remember talking about Michael Jordan's Hitler mustache?
Yes. I even had to look that up because I didn't know about it.
So I really, here's the thing. I don't know if I can, are these things in the exact same category? A very rich and famous person does something where anybody else you'd go, well, that's certainly not okay. But it gets in this weird line where you're like, well, they are very rich and famous. Maybe it's different than what I would think if someone else were doing it. I know
So
that sounds weird, but
there the what Elon's done is he's sort of like he's completely denied it, of course, and he's sort of making fun of it on Twitter, right?
yeah,
He's like making Nazi jokes. Um, when Jordan grew the Hitler stash and it was like pointed out to him, do you remember what his reaction was?
I don't. I don't even know if I know what his reaction was.
Because that would say a lot. Because like if his reaction was like get over it, that's one thing. But if his
Yeah.
reaction was I had no idea people felt this way, I apologize, I'm gonna go shave it off as soon as I can, that's another way to handle the situation.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know anything about it other than I saw it. I was like, wait a second. Am I seeing that right? Um, my own pet hypothesis.
Yeah,
Every once in a while, I mean, Betty and Jennifer can attest to this. When I should, because sometimes, I'm trimming my beard, I mess it up. Oh, okay, it's time to have a mustache.
yeah,
Mustache gets too long. I can't save things. I have to start from zero and grow it back out again. And there have been times when I'm shaving off my mustache and I start with the ends first and I have a little bit left over and I go to them and I go, what about this? Do you think this would be okay? Would anyone have a problem? It's
well,
just something between me and my family. I think it's possible.
Paul F. Tompkins had a routine when we went to go see him at Rebar about that just had me
Yeah,
rolling.
it's one of those things where it's very relatable.
I've never
Um,
I've never done
you've
that.
never done it?
But
Okay.
I have shaved in stages. And you remember when we did the front page, I had a mustache for the
Yeah,
entire run of
you
the show.
did. Yep.
And the character description in the play is like Earl Williams, was that the character's name? I can't remember the name of the guy I played. Well, it has been 20 years. But with a small mustache was literally like the
Yes.
only character description of this guy. And I'm like, how small does I went to add like how
How
small does
small?
this mustache need to be? And the thing is I don't my like I can't grow like really thick facial hair, right? It's and I
Hmm.
every even after like a month of growing this mustache, I still had to use mascara to darken it in, right? Because like
I do
otherwise
remember you putting mascara on it.
people so I would like start at the middle and then be like no and then like keep going
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just to
So
see.
my thought is that Michael Jordan is doing the same thing. He's like, oh, and then they're like, Mike, we need you right now. And he
Yeah,
runs out,
the
and they're
third
like,
period starting.
whoa, bold, bold statement. I think he wasn't playing basketball anymore at that time. I think he was just being famous.
Yeah,
But who knows?
just
Maybe that's all
existing.
it was. Maybe it was well, we'll see how it works. But it could have also been a flex. That's what I'm saying. I'm Michael Jordan.
It's a
No
weird
one
flex.
but me can do this with their mustache. But I'm Michael Jordan. I can do this, and they
I
won't think I'm anyone but Michael Jordan.
I want to say I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, look at Ben giving rich people benefits of the doubt.
Yeah.
Um, I want to say he didn't realize what he did. I want to say he was kind of like
Wow.
taken aback that people thought that
Wow.
he had a Hitler mustache.
Could you imagine just for a second being Michael Jordan's friend and then just stop there?
Well,
Wow.
it's like yeah, because he
Michael
surrounds
Jordan's
himself
coming
like
over.
like a rich person. He surrounds himself with people who support him.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, what about, you ever think about shaving that mustache off?
No, why
No,
would I
I'm
do
not
that?
really. Why would I do that?
Oh, just just saying we don't need to talk about it anymore. Just thanks
It's
for the.
my iconic Michael Jordan mustache.
I'm gonna
Anyway,
reclaim the toothbrush mustache.
so all I'm saying is that Elon probably shouldn't have done that, and
The
but who am I to?
end result here is,
That's
yeah, probably not. But
out
I
of
don't.
everything that he's ever done, that is the one thing that he probably shouldn't. Oh, by the way, I did something that you know how the last time I just stayed off of the news for a while and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I just watched the president signing executive orders, Ben, and it was because it was serving up on YouTube, and I was like, oh, this is okay. I'll take a look at that. And the reason I mentioned it is because apropos for something. If you go, well, why was Paul watching this? It was because I was looking at he signed a thing declassifying. This is what got me to watch it. It
I heard
said,
about
"Oh,
this.
signs a thing to declassify JFK and
JFK,
MLK."
RFK,
Yeah,
MLK.
and he did this and handed the pen to a guy and said, "Give this to RFK Jr.," which I thought was really nice. Kind of cool.
I heard that.
Granted, he's a maniac.
Speaking of the maniac RFK Jr., is that who you were talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, take your pick, Ben. But
Apparently,
yes,
famous anti-vaxxer RFK Jr. apparently is now telling Republican senators that he is pro-vaccine now, which is surprising a lot of people.
yeah. He quit a anti-vax, resigned from a anti-vax nonprofit that he had
Probably
been
started
in
it.
with.
Yeah.
So here's the thing that was great. Oh, great. Um, they had said one of the reporters said, "Hey, you wanted to do this Stargate initiative with the folks who do OpenAI." And Elon Musk said that they didn't have enough capital to close the deal. What do you think about that? And Donald Trump said, "Oh, Elon hates one of those guys. He really he can't stand him. So that's why he said that." And it was a situation where I was like, "Okay, you know what? In this at this one point in time, I appreciate the frankness. Just straight up, yeah, he hates him. I don't know. I hate people too, but it's a good deal." And it was like, all right, well,
Yeah.
so that was fun. Um,
That's the true
let's
definition of
see.
FU money. We can make this deal happen and make everybody even more rich, but I don't like that guy.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
go to hell.
So I was talking about this. There is sort of a not a Deadpool necessarily, but something similar where people are taking bets on which Trump cabinet members will make it in, which ones won't, how long they'll stay, etc. And Elon Musk is one of those things of people are wondering, are the two of them going to have a falling out at some point?
Maybe. I mean,
And the,
Vivek is already out of Doge.
yeah, from Doge to Ohio, Ben, and I don't know,
3.2
Ohio
parsecs.
State, um,
The Ohio State.
the Ohio State. That's right. So I don't know. I feel like here's what I can say. I am happy to
Legally.
be in Chicago. Chicago is a nice place to be. Um, I don't know how any of this stuff is going to turn out, but I do think that egos and infighting will keep things from being as bad as they could be.
See, that was the thing about the first stint, right? Stuff didn't get happen because of like what we assumed was just severe incompetency. And because nobody on that team thought they were going to win, they didn't really plan. But now they have planners. They
Hmm.
actually do have smart people on the inside making the decisions. But you're right in that the egos will probably get in the way of a lot of these decisions.
We'll see. I don't know. That that one piece seemed okay. Oh no, it fell asleep. Is it going to go away? No, it seems like it's still recording. I think
One
we're going to be
Piece,
okay.
I hear it's great.
Oh, too many episodes, Ben. How are you ever going to catch up? Um, so let's see.
I finished a TV show last night. I was watching this is like what not to do in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Um, if you're going to adapt a novel into a TV show and you've only been awarded one season, don't just do one third of the book
Okay, what are
because
you talking about? Which thing?
so there's an Octavia E. Butler book I read last year called Kindred.
Oh, we talked
And
about this. Yeah.
I finally finished it last night. I was excited to watch the TV show because I'm like, oh,
Oh
I want to
no.
see what they do. And at I was with it early on because they stuck pretty closely to like
Yeah.
the events. There are different things like they've introduced new characters, they've gotten rid of other characters. You know how people do when they
Yeah.
adapt things. But so this show was released in 2022, and the cliffhanger of season one is about a third of the way through the book. So I can guarantee they had a 2 or 3 season arc for the adaptation of this novel, and Hulu probably was like, "You only get one. Sorry." So now
Wow,
everybody
that's too
who is
bad.
watching this TV show, even if you uh, didn't read the book, you're probably wondering like, what are you doing? What are you doing to us? We spent
Yeah.
all this time, and now you're not going to answer. You're not going to continue the story.
Well, I mean, the good news is that they can read the book now if they want.
They
That's
can.
that's fun.
It started going off the rails for me. There's so the main character time travels back to antebellum South, and there are certain chapters where she like where like 3 months go by in a paragraph, right? Because
Mm,
it's written in first person, and she's like, and then I went to the cookhouse and I helped Sarah with the baking, and I did that for 3 months, and then the story goes on from like the end of that 3 months. So they've like one thing that was kind of nice. I'm not going to give it a full throated endorsement. One thing that was kind of nice is that the TV show was filling out those moments, right? You got
yeah.
to see what was going on. There's more character development, although there were bad characters in the book that they were making sympathetic in the TV show, which I don't like white
Eh,
characters that were bad in the book that they were making sympathetic in the TV show. I'm like, why are
yeah.
you no, Margaret's evil. Why are you making us feel bad for her? Um, so I was just disappointed in it.
There
And
are
that's
there are
don't watch Kindred. Read the book.
okay. Read the book, says Ben.
Yeah.
That's the takeaway. So, um, apparently there is, Ben, we're gonna try this. I don't know how often I talk about it, but it is one of my little special interests, even though I don't know a ton about it. So let me just ask you, what is my favorite style of architecture?
Brutalism.
Ben, you win. Oh my
For
gosh.
real?
That is correct. Yes.
Well, it's like I've known
When
you
you said
for a quarter century.
exactly, when you said it, I was like, wait a second, that is my favorite type of yeah. So there's a movie called The Brutalist
Oh
that
yeah, it's playing at the SIF Cinema downtown.
do you know, Ben, what has made some people upset about the
I
film The
do.
Brutalist?
I read about this.
Yeah.
Let me finish
Can you
writing.
explain to the people? Oh, finish writing. Are you writing to
I'm writing
what's
the show notes as we go. So what
Oh,
happened in The
okay.
Brutalist was so Adrian Brody plays a Hungarian, and there's a
Yes.
scene where he's having a conversation with another Hungarian, and they do the scene, and Adrian Brody, he's a good actor. I'm sure he worked on his Hungarian accent. And what they discovered in the edit, and full context, the editor of this film is
Yeah.
Hungarian, right?
Yep.
So they went back and forth. They were like, "Do we bring Adrian Brody?" I think they even brought the actors into ADR, and they just couldn't nail it. And
Yeah.
they're like, well, we can't, like, we could bring in other, like, natural Hungarian actors to dub these voices, but people are going to know, right? Because their voices are
Yeah.
different. So what they do is they use an AI voice generating website called Respeecher to
Yep.
artificially create this section of dialogue, and people are up in arms because I'm like, they're using AI to enhance to enhance the brutalist. Where I mean, I'm sure they used image generation in
They
other places in the movie, but
apparently they used it, yeah, for image generation as well.
for like architectural enhancements,
Yeah.
but people seem really upset about the specific use of AI in making Adrian Brody's accent sound more realistic.
Now my question is this: what does Adrian Brody think of it? Has he said anything? Because I don't know.
I've not heard his reaction, but it's, I mean, I don't know what kind of an ego that guy has, but it probably would be something like if he went into the booth and tried to do it and just couldn't nail it, that's demoralizing, you know? And I'm sure from his point of view, he's probably upset with himself that he couldn't get it, but maybe a little relieved that it will look like he did.
Well, in some ways, Adrian Brody is known for his accent work. And then we put in a clip here. I know we can't do it, but we put in the clip here of the Saturday Night Live episode where he did a Jamaican accent,
Okay.
much to the chagrin of the people that were watching the program because it didn't land.
Was it like a horrible caricature, like a racist caricature of a Jamaican accent?
Here's the thing. I think here's what it is. You can't you can't do it well if you're Adrian Brody. No matter how good the accent is, it's not. Yeah, I think he had. I think he was wearing some hair also.
Oh no.
I believe. You'd have to. Yeah, the clip is out there. So when you get a chance, Ben, just pour yourself a hot cup of cocoa, settle down, and take a look. But anyway, so that there's another one. There's another movie that was AI enhanced as well. It's got like apparently 13 Oscar nominations,
Oh.
and people are like, "That's a lot." And it's amazing that they were getting these Oscar nominations in spite of using AI. And there's a TikToker that people that I know posted who was like, "You're not paying attention. It got nominated because it was using it." Is the basic idea. Oh, speaking of not paying
A
attention,
a rare
pull
Betty
out of
sighting.
nowhere.
Um,
Well, put in the show notes. Bay's return.
what movie is this that used AI and got 13 Oscar nominations?
Uh, mm,
I can't be bothered to
I
learn
don't
names.
prepare. Just look up AI Oscar nomination.
This is going to be it was a fight, actually. I mean, that's why the writers and actors went on strike, right? This is always going to be a
Hmm.
thing. Every new release is going to be like, oh no, they used an image generator to do this, you know?
Hmm.
Um, it's never that's never going away. I think at some point, uh, it'll just become more noise and people will stop caring.
I mean, there was a guy named Chris Gay who was a special
Was
effects
never
artist
teased as a
who went to
child.
my high school. Most likely never teased. Uh, I mean, he did some cool stuff like he puppeted some of Howard the Duck, puppeted some of Slimer. Um, I one time wore an Alex Winter face mold on my head from Lost Boys when he worked on that. And so, he came to talk to our art class for a while. And one of the things, so I was following him in his career. And when CGI came out, he was like, well, maybe I'm out of a job now. Maybe that,
Right.
I mean, for model makers, that it wasn't exactly AI but it was very similar.
Yeah. I mean, there's there
And I came up with this. Sorry, go ahead.
well, that's a famous story from Jurassic Park, right? The Stan Winston Studios made what Spielberg called a go motion models of the
Hmm.
Velociraptors. They're essentially, stop motion animation, and they look pretty good. But then, the nerds at ILM made a, CGI dinosaur, and it looked like for 1994, 1995, it looked amazing.
Hmm.
And I'm sure all the guys who spent months animating 3 seconds of Velociraptor footage were like, "Well, that's my career."
So I can mention it now. I was thinking about if people had approached the work that was being done by who's Gollum?
Andy Serkis.
The work being done by Andy Serkis, right? If they approached that the same way and said Andy Serkis is now putting uh, people who do animation out of work because instead they're now capturing
Right.
his facial animation rather than doing that. And and if they had done that, and if people had been against it, they would have used the term Broshan capture to make fun of it and say, "Oh yeah, some actor some actor bro is gonna come and show me how I'm supposed to do my animation." It doesn't work, right? It isn't, and I think it's because there's a human element to that motion capture, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I've figured out with AI. Um, all the human elements, because there are human elements, right?
Yeah.
There's the programmer who makes the algorithm, and then there are all the people who made all the things that feeds into it. It's because the human element is hidden. You don't see it. You don't see the people
No.
that did it because all of their work is already done. Whereas Andy Serkis, you see him making the face, and the face makes the thing go, and all that.
Yeah, but also
Provenance, provenance.
somebody had to design the Golem skin that Andy Serkis,
Mm-hmm.
wore in the motion capture. Like there was still an
True.
artist behind that. There just wasn't somebody who like pushed buttons to make, the eyebrow do this or that, right? That part was the automated part.
So I feel like what we might end up seeing, and I don't know for sure about this. I'm thinking about because industry is going to continue to push for this. I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
right? So here's how I think they're going to do it. And what day is it? It's January
Thursday.
23rd,
Yeah.
2025. Here's what I think is going to happen. Bespoke AI is going to happen. And what it's going to say is that for this movie, we used an AI to make the visuals that was trained on work by this guy.
Yeah.
And so this guy who that trained it on is going to be listed as
A
visual
creator.
supervisor or art director or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's how it's going to work. Is it's not going to be they made this with AI. It's going to be they worked with this artist to make this stuff. So like yeah, Dune and everything was trained on. I'm making this one up, obviously because of Jodorowsky, right? All of the images are trained on HR Giger, and that's where all the video special effects come from,
Yeah.
right? That is, I think, how they might end up doing it. Have an established artist whose name gets put on it, and
One
then the artists get their money.
One artist who people might want to train their AIs on for a specific aesthetic is
True, train your put
How?
your AIs on this.
Hey, put it right here.
Uh,
One artist who has an aesthetic that people might want to do this with is we haven't talked about this. David Lynch passed away this last week.
oh my gosh, Ben, and why was it you and not me that brought it up?
I
That's
have
amazing.
no idea. With
Um,
10 minutes left, at least
because
I
you
have
know,
10
man,
minutes. You're a Lynch
I'm a
head?
David Lynch fanatic. I love David Lynch very much. Um, yeah, I found out about it when somebody just posted
The paparazzi
there's
was
a
chasing
Twin
him with
Peaks
a motorcycle.
there's a Twin Peaks A to Z thing that's coming out,
Yeah.
and that David Lynch A to Z is going to be arriving in my mailbox soon. And the person that posted it, they posted a thing saying, well, David Lynch passed away, so I thought I'd share this with you all.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to buy it. This is the thing. David Lynch, savvy businessman till the end. I wasn't going to buy it because I already had all the pieces of it just in different DVD sets. But it was he died, number one, and number two, it was on sale for $69. And I'm like, okay,
Nice.
yeah, exactly. Nice. Um, so yeah, it really is kind of crazy because I had not considered the idea of him dying. I know that sounds weird, but I was like, what's the next thing he's going to do? I wonder what the next thing he's going to do is. And then he died. And I was thinking about George R. R. Martin like that as well. Like, he maybe isn't going to finish his books, right?
Not at the rate
He's
he's
getting
going
on
currently.
there. Yeah, which is fine.
What I
Maybe
heard
he's
about
already made peace with it and he's just not going to.
his fans will never make peace with it. What I heard about David Lynch, or David Lynch, as I was about to say, was that he had severe emphysema because he smoked since he was eight
Yep.
years old, and he
Oh, I
needed
didn't know
like
it was since he was 8.
that's the story that I
But
heard. That's what I heard. No,
yeah,
it's like who knows how true it is, but like he like needed an oxygen tank everywhere he went because he basically couldn't walk on his own.
I know that he wasn't going to direct things in person anymore. He was going to direct them from his home
Yeah.
if he was going to direct anything. And then he died, Ben. So
Someone else,
yeah,
like, he died on the 15th. There was another celebrity death around that
yeah, it
time.
was Bob Euchre, Ben.
That's how did I forget Mr. Baseball? Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a thing that they put in the New Yorker, which was St. Peter talking to David Lynch, uh, saying, "Okay, so who really killed Laura Palmer?" Which is, you know,
Yeah.
all right. But what it should have been is it should have been David Lynch and Bob Euchre walking, you know, up to the pearly gates, and David Lynch saying, "Baseball, America's pastime." I remember back at that sort of thing. It would be nice.
Yeah.
That'd be all.
Uh, I'll have to rewatch my favorite Bob Uecker acting product. Of course, I'm talking about Mr. Belvedere.
Mr. Belvedere. Now, you've heard, Ben, I assume, the rumor about Mr. Belvedere. Are you familiar with the internet rumor about Mr. Belvedere?
No, I'm not. I was gonna say something horrible, but and childish.
Well, it might still be horrible and childish. Trying to think of
Are we talking about the
the
actor who played Mr. Belvedere?
the rumor is that the actor who played Mr. Belvedere, while on set, accidentally sat on his testicles and they had to stop filming. You can look
That's
it up. It's
so.
real internet lore.
When you said, "Did you hear the rumor about Mr. Belvedere?" What my lizard brain immediately came back with was, "What? Did he have a big dick or something?"
Well, so close,
I
so
know,
close.
so close. Just couldn't hit the target.
Well, it's there's something about the way the
Chris
world works.
Chris something, Christopher something, the actor who played Mr.
Dietz.
Belvedere. That guy, I know that guy. I'm looking it up
We were
because
talking about
I saw Bob Uecker. I was watching a bunch of old interviews of Bob Uecker on like Carson and Letterman, and he mentioned the actor's name, and I'm like, "Oh, right, I remember seeing that guy."
Bob Uecker is the one that in
Christopher
that one
Hewitt.
baseball movie said just a bit outside, right? That was him,
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
it?
Major League. Yeah,
Yeah. Major League. Yeah.
just a
Bob
bit
Uecker. He's
outside.
great.
No, but actually, before I said Mr. Belvedere, what I was leading up to was my favorite Bob Uecker project, Major League, which is I need to do a rewatch of that film because it's been a few years.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if it holds up. Charlie Sheen ends up wearing glasses and makes all the difference.
He's the wild thing. Oh, there's probably like
Yep, that's right.
the only like female characters are sexualized, like there's a
Mm.
or are evil. There are no they're
Hey,
plot
what's the
devices.
difference? Uh,
So
so,
I mean, it's a movie about baseball, so
um,
yeah, it does have a lot of dudes in it.
I feel like, oh, I was going to say, I feel like there's a show that I need to talk about. Did we already talk about America Primeval?
I think you mentioned it last week or
Uh,
last time we
so
talked.
the reason I just wanted to mention it for a second is because that movie was planned to be a limited series, planned to be six
Yeah,
episodes. And I think you and I have talked about it. You and I have definitely talked about it in the world. I don't know if we've talked about it on this podcast, but how like the winds of war, I think, is one of the other things I think about a long time ago. When the British series, right, which is their word for a season,
yeah,
but when the British series is planned, how much better it is than a lot of the United States TV shows. Because TV shows on the United States are just this is going to run forever. We're just going to write episodes and churn them out, and so you have like 400 episodes of some crime show or whatever.
right.
And are they good? Are they bad? They're consistent.
It's
That's the
comfort,
thing.
like for a lot of people,
Ben, you're back.
it's
Okay.
it's comfort television. It's formulaic. It's like, I know that for a lot of people, like Grey's Anatomy is their comfort television. I've never seen the show, but I can only imagine it's like a prime time soap opera.
Yeah, Law and Order, good example,
All the
right? How
CSI
long has that
knockoffs.
been running?
Yeah, who
Forever.
knows?
Yeah.
Also, well, I know it. The
There's now
lag
CSI.
is like completely horrible, but we only have a
Yeah,
few minutes left in the show.
it's funny because we're working through it,
Yeah,
and it's not a problem. Somebody talked about Ghost Dog, Way of the Samurai, um, and and I was reminded of the scene in Ghost Dog where have you seen Ghost Dog?
I have not.
So Ghost Dog and his friend who's from France are talking, and they don't understand each other, but what they're saying is like he says in English, uh, I want you to have this suit. It might be a little bit too big on you, but you can get it tailored. And he says in French, the guy says, "Oh, are you giving me the suit? It's a little big on me, but I can have it tailored." Like they're talking
Yeah.
to each other, even though they don't understand each other. And that's how I feel always happens whenever we get onto super lag. You and I both know that it's happening. When I work with people and there's a lag, it can become a real problem. People like, they talk over each other. One
Right.
person gets mad at another person because they don't say anything, etc.
Even when there's
You and
not a
I,
lag
we
that
just power
happens.
through it.
Yeah.
True. So, I've been watching Black Doves on Netflix,
I saw it.
and that show is good. Oh, okay. I haven't watched it all yet, but
Like, did you get to the episode where
so here's the thing that I want to say, and I want to say this like you'll know what I'm talking about because you've seen it.
Yeah.
For those who haven't, I'm going to try my best to explain what I mean by it in a second. But Black Doves is a show that is gay in the right way. And what I mean by that is, that the gay characters have uh like all the screen time of romance that the straight characters would have. There's especially, and spoilers if you haven't seen it, but the spoilers aren't going to make any sense if you haven't seen it. When they have like their first, when you've had the flashback and you see their first date,
Yeah.
Michael and Sam, or is it Matthew and
I don't remember
Sam,
the
or is
character
it
names.
Michael? Okay. Oh gosh, I think it's Matt. It's either Matthew or Michael,
Let's
and
pretend
the
it's
reason
Michael.
is I've got no. It is. I think it's Michael. It is Michael. Michael and Sam are having their first date,
Yeah.
and just the lingering shots on their eyes and their mouths and when they're talking and all that kind of stuff is again very very affectionate, very love. It's intimate, and I haven't seen that in a show
You don't watch the right
like
shows, Paul
this.
Goody.
Well, in a show like this, a spy show
Yeah.
like it.
Yep.
So
It's
I
it
thought it was good.
because yeah, spy shows are usually like quite like masculine and manly.
Yeah, uh, there was a a show that actually Ben Winshaw, is that his name, Winshaw? Uh,
Yeah.
I believe was in, called London Spy. That was also gay in the right way, in fact. But he wasn't like the same kind of spy that he is now.
He was
Oh, the other
also
thing I
in
was going
one
to
of
say is
the
that Ben
seasons of
Winshaw.
Fargo.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
He
Did a
played
good job in that too.
yeah.
I like him a lot. I think if they were ever going to remake Planet of the Apes, I would want him to be Cornelius.
Who was that? Was
But
that
why? Why should
Rod
they?
was that
Uh,
Roddy
John
McDowell?
Hurt's character.
Oh, John Hurt. Okay.
Oh, Roddy McDowell. Right. Wait. No. 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 You're right, Ben. You're right. Roddy McDowell. Oh, that's crazy. I got Roddy McDowell and John Hurt confused.
How dare you?
Or did I? Yes, I think I did. Oh my God. I have
I'm
to
gonna look it up
apologize to
because
everybody.
it has been ages since I've
I
seen
think
the
it's Roddy
original.
McDowell. I really think it's Roddy McDowell.
There are
What am
too
I
many
thinking of
Planet
John
of the
Hurt in
Apes
though?
movies. All right. Roddy McDowell.
Maybe
Yeah, Cornelius.
maybe one was in one. Yeah. Okay. So okay.
Ah,
So
I was
there
right.
you go. I got it wrong. I- Is John Hurt? Has John Hurt ever played an ape?
Ask
That's
Siri.
me saying it out loud like I'm typing it.
Yeah,
Has John Hurt ever played an ape? Oh my God, that's right. I'm not typing anything, but that is typing cadence.
yeah.
Let's see. Fargo, North Dakota. A man who once lived there. Norwegian question mark.
So I think
Um,
um next week Paul only Sparks speaks in typing cart case.
Too late, Ben. This is Paul. I'm talking that way now. I
There
have
was
to move my fingers while I'm talking like this,
are you actually
or
typing that out?
I can't do it correctly right.
There's a
Oh my gosh.
I
Yes, I can actually type this as I am saying it. but
And
I
with
don't
that,
have a keyboard. Okay. Yep. Hey Ben, how's it happening? Keep it running. We did it.
yay. All right. Talk to you next week.
Yep. Talk to you next week, Ben. See ya.
Bye.